We're going to start with Anthony, who is here in Birmingham with us. Anthony, good evening to you. How can we help?
Good evening.
Hi. Go right ahead with your question, if you will.
Oh, my question is, why doesn't the judge have to go along with a certain figure or amount that your claim is worth unless you settle it with your employer for a certain amount? They can say, well, I think this claim is worth $8,000 when it should actually be worth $75,000 or $80,000 by the injuries that you have.
And so your question is, why is it that the judge can make their own decision apart from that you and your employer might have agreed to?
Correct.
It's an interesting question. Bernard, your response?
This happens very frequently. What typically will happen if you're represented by a workers' comp lawyer, and if that lawyer has done his or her job correctly, they, from the very beginning of the relationship between the attorney and the client, talks about what you are entitled to and what you're not entitled to. You're not entitled to lost wages, mental anguish, punitive damages, and the like. If this were a car accident case involved, then Kirby and his firm could pursue those damages. But the law is very clear what a judge can do and can't do. The judge has to follow the framework of the Alabama workers' compensation laws. And really, there's only about 2 decisions a judge can make at a trial. The judge can determine whether or not the injuries were caused from the event, the accident, the exposure, the repetitive motion at work. And if the answer to that is yes, then the judge looks at the degree of disability, which is typically given by a doctor. There's a book called the Directory of Occupational Impairment, and it gives a list of the range of the percentages. So when a judge gives an order after a trial, he's not or she's not giving a dollar figure. The judge is giving a percentage of impairment. And then the lawyers will then figure out from the equations that the law allows. So a lot of times what happens, if the judge is just following what the law says, and if the injured worker and the attorney haven't really gotten together about the reality of the value of the case, then the expectations are maybe a little bit out of whack, and that creates some conflict sometimes between client and attorney and the expectations when you're going to court. I hope that addresses Anthony's question.
Wow.
Yep.
That's really interesting. Thank you for that thorough and involved answer.
Sure.
And Anthony, thank you for that question. Like you said, it seems to be a pretty common issue. So thank you for that.